Good evening. What an absolute pile of tosh we have just had to sit and watch. This was against Scotland. Let's not forget that. Scotland, who, let's face it, are minnows in the footballing world. Not a great footballing nation at the minute, or they haven't been. But by God, did they put 120% into that match tonight. And we were just pathetic. Southgate needs to really take a good hard look at himself at tonight's performance. His substitutions, his team lineup, everything. The whole thing was wrong from the start. I am absolutely disgusted as an England fan tonight. Disgusted. Because Scotland should have won that game. There is no doubt in my mind that they should have won that game. When you're looking at Jordan Pickford and saying he was man of the match, that tells you how bad England were. Absolutely dreadful. From the word go, we had nothing today. It was terrible. And I'm absolutely disgusted. I really am. I can't say anything else but disgusted. It was terrible from the word go. Absolutely terrible. And we just did nothing from start to finish. Yeah, we hit the post. That should have been a goal. You know, John Stones, free header, nobody on him, yet he manages to hit the post. How does a professional footballer miss a header from there when you aren't even getting challenged? Useless. The lot of them were useless tonight. There wasn't one player that stood out for me. I mean, yes, Grealish came on and he tried. He desperately tried to do something, but nothing was happening for Grealish because he had nothing around him. Utterly pathetic. Harry Kane, I mean, oh, God almighty, what is wrong with him? He just looks lost. But this manager of ours today, he's gone out to draw the game. Let's not beat around the bush with anything here. He is going to draw that game today against Scotland. You know, he was actually frightened to give it a go against Scotland and go out and perform and win a football match and win it convincingly. Utterly, utterly pathetic. I have never, ever, ever witnessed so much dross in my life. Everybody saying after the Croatian game, oh, wow, you know, we're on our way, you know, we've started, this is it. No, it's not. Not by a long shot. You know, we won against Croatia, but the performance wasn't great. But I said, hey, you know, it's not very good, but it's the first game. Let's just let them get into the tournament, get them going. But my God, absolute dross. From start to finish, nothing inspired you today to tell you we're going to win this tournament. That's laughable. Absolutely laughable right now is to say that England are going to win this tournament because the likes of Portugal, France, Italy, Germany, all these sides, Belgium, they'll just be rubbing their hands thinking, oh, God almighty, England aren't going to be anything, absolutely anything to play against. Jesus Christ, man. Honestly, I've had enough of it. It's just, as a Newcastle fan as well, you know, watching that kind of football, I've had to watch that all season. And it comes to Euros, wanting to watch England and play well and do something in the tournament. And then I'm watching the same bloody Bruce ball as I've been watching all season. Christ down a bike, man. Pathetic. Ryan, good evening. I knew it was going to be a draw as soon as Scotland went 5 at the back and parked the bus, but we were also poor. Listen, Ryan, I don't think Scotland parked the bus in any particular way. What Scotland did was they were brilliantly organised tonight at the back and just didn't let us get anything. You know, they were organised, they were up for it, they were challenging for the ball. So I'm actually praising Scotland. I'm not saying they actually parked the bus because when we had the ball, they were so compact. They stayed in their formation and they were so well disciplined that it just proved that we couldn't get through them. It was awful. It was awful. They deserve to be booed off the pitch for that performance. Ryan says, who do we have next anyway? Czech Republic. And the way they're playing, you know, that's not going to be, you know, we can't exactly now say, oh, we're going to beat them either because it's what gets me about Southgate is he plays his favourites and he plays his favourites all the time. And this is what pees me off. You know, he said when he got the job that he was going to play people who were in form. He wasn't going to have favourites and he was going to go and do a job. Now, it's clear he has favourites. Marcus Rashford coming on tonight. Why? Why not put Calvert-Lewin on, who is a striker, who knows where the goal is? But he brings Rashford on, who's bang out of form, who for me is completely injured. What did he do? What did Rashford do when he was on the pitch? Give the ball away, as he normally does. Absolutely unbelievable. Level 7, David. Fucking totally pathetic. Southgate one shot. It's just pathetic. It is. Absolutely pathetic. Keeping it tuned. Good evening to you. Can someone direct me to somewhere I can get a refund and the 92 minutes of my life back that got totally wasted? Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling like that tonight, to be honest, mate, including myself. It was just desperately lacking of anything from an England point of view. And you're thinking, go out, get a few goals, get your confidence up, get qualified. That's all we wanted to do tonight against the Scotland side, who were clearly more up for it than us, were clearly well more organised than us, and clearly wanted it more. It's just not right. But we've said this about England in various tournaments, how things change very quickly. Everybody bigs them up and they fail at the hurdles and everything like that. Well, they failed again tonight. And nobody can tell me that they're confident that that's an England side that you believe can beat the likes of Belgium, Italy, or whoever it may be for that matter, Germany, Portugal, France. I mean, Jesus Christ, let's know you. Tyrone Mings, seriously, I do not know what that guy has done to get an England place. He is god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. Ryan says, I wish the BBC and ITV would come together and buy the Premier League and UCL rights, make it free for everybody else like they used to. Yeah, that ain't going to happen, though, unfortunately, Ryan. Tony, good evening. That was embarrassing. I think that's understatement, mate. Understatement. It was just rotten. Sam Matterface was right when he said, this is edge of your seat stuff. I was literally on the edge of my seat wanting to turn it off. Sam Matterface, I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're going to talk about commentators, absolutely abysmal. I mean, edge of your seat stuff. As an England fan, was any of you guys on the edge of your seat for that full game? Was anybody on the edge of the seat watching that? Because I did a watch along on Peter's channel tonight, and 5 or 6 of us were just sitting bored out of our minds. Bored out of our minds. When you watch that, you go up against Scotland, you're expecting certainly the attacking players that Southgate has at his disposal, and he doesn't use them. He doesn't use them to our advantage. He plays 2 defensive midfielders who stayed on the pitch for the full 90 minutes. Why not take a defensive midfielder off and have a go? At least try. Try and win the football match. Pathetic. What a load of shit, says Stephen Maddox. Stephen, you couldn't be more right there, mate. It was absolutely terrible from start to finish. Embarrassing. Tony says, never seen a team so uncreative with so many creative players at our disposal. Exactly what I've just said. It just beggars belief. Tony says, Rashford up front instead of DCL. My God. Yep, made that point as well. Well said, Tony. You're looking for goals. Harry Kane just doesn't look with it at all at the minute. I'm not sure what is going on with Harry Kane, whether he's just fatigued or he's carrying a knock. But he's just nowhere near the striker we need at the moment. And, when we're needing something, bring on Calvert-Lewin, who will get stuck in. But the problem is, we also need to have that creativity for Calvert-Lewin, and there wasn't any today. There was hardly any crosses came in. There was hardly anybody picked the ball up, wanted to run at defenders. There's nothing. Terrible. Southgate got the starting 11 and formation totally wrong. He should have went with Grealish and Sterling on the wings, with Foden behind Kane in the number 10 role with the 4-3-3 formation. Yeah, but like I've just said there, Geordie, it's the fact that Southgate hasn't got the balls to do it. He hasn't got the confidence. I tweeted out at half-time that I would love to see Southgate take the shackles off this team and actually go at them. Go at them second half. Because at the end of the day, if we'd have scored one, Scotland might have just lost all confidence, motivation, and we could have got more. And given the fans and the players motivation to move through to the next round, knowing we've scored some goals, knowing we're playing good football. But no, Southgate is a very, very defensive manager, and he was frightened tonight. He was frightened to lose to Scotland because he wouldn't give it a go. He'd rather shut up shop and not concede anything than actually go and win the game against somebody like Scotland. And that says it all about our management. That says it all. You just get the feeling that if we picked the informed players to go to the Euros instead of the names, then we might have done a lot better. Yeah, but this argument's going to go on and on, mate, to be honest. About England managers and picking players in form. That's exactly what Southgate said he would do at the start of his reign as England manager, and he hasn't done it. Pathetic. Tom, good evening. England fans are silly and get carried away. England are the international equivalent of Newcastle. That was like watching Newcastle having to play a lower league side in the cup. Scrappy and unimpressive. Yeah. You know what it actually reminded me of tonight was the Carabao Cup game that we played against Newport County earlier in the season. For those of you that aren't Newcastle fans, it was terrible. We went to Newport and we played exactly like England did tonight. We were just awful. And then Newport actually scored, and it took a Shelby wonder strike to pull us level, and we ended up winning the game on penalties. But that is what it's like, and that is what I've, as a fan, and many other Newcastle fans, have had to sit and watch all season. Utter dross, and it was just like, oh my God, it's deja vu again, even with the international side. How Sterling lasted 90 minutes is beyond me. Yeah. Thomas, good evening. Poor passing for chances and worse finishing. Scotland really, I mean, they didn't, the chance in the first half, the brilliant save from Pickford. That was outstanding save. Obviously it came from behind the defender. He got down quickly too. Brilliant save. And he commanded his box very well tonight, Pickford. Scotland will probably look at this match tonight and think, wow, we could have stolen that game. We could have maybe pinched a 1-0 win, got away with it, and went home with the 3 points. So I think at the end of the day, Scotland will be pretty disappointed they didn't win the game. And that's how bad England were, to say that. And Southgate, if he comes out with any crap about, we played all right, we didn't let them in and all of this kind of garbage, he needs to come out tonight and say that wasn't good enough. Actually be honest with the England fans and say that was really not good enough. We apologise. We will put it right on Tuesday against the Czechs. But he won't say that. I thought Scotland looked like they were shitting themselves in the tunnel at the start. But what a sackless, gutless performance. And are one of the favourites. We're not one of the favourites. I mean, we were, yes, with the bookies granted at the start of the tournament, but you cannot tell me after those first 2 games that England look like a team that will go on and win this Euros. Yes, we can get better. Of course we can. We've still got a game left, and then obviously into the round of 16. But you look at that round of 16, we are going to be, if we win the group, we're going to play either France, Germany, or Portugal. Now, can anybody see us beating any of those 3 sides at the moment? I know the Germans aren't at the best at the minute, but Christ almighty, they're better than Scotland, and they would have evaporated us tonight. There's no doubt about it. Any of the top teams would have. And we aren't good enough. We just aren't, because we have a manager who picks favourites over players that are in form. And that there lies the problem. Players who are his favourites over players in form will never win you anything, because he hasn't got the balls to drop certain players in that England starting 11. Missed chances, tired from Southgate out. Well, yeah, there will be calls for him if we get knocked out very soon. Jake, good evening. Let's give proper credit here. Scotland defended really well. Doesn't matter who we played or who they played for that matter. Anyone would have struggled to score against them tonight. Yeah, they would have, but it's just not good enough. Tony says 2 subs out of 5 used. Look, he had 5 players to bring on, and he didn't do that. And that has to be questioned. That has to be questioned. With about half an hour, 20 minutes to go, change it up, change the formation, change the system, go to win the game. But like I said earlier, this manager, it was scared stiff tonight of losing to Scotland. He would rather have shut up shop than actually give it a go. And that for me is absolutely pathetic thinking. Pathetic. Even Grant Handley looked good versus Marcus. I mean, Grant Handley had a very good game, I thought, tonight for Scotland. Scotland are the 3rd lowest ranked team in the competition. Yep. So what does that say about England? Wish I'd. Billy says, well done, Steve Clarke, on totally outthinking Gareth Southgate. Thought we were fortunate to escape with a point. The manager is a millstone around this team's neck, without a shadow of a doubt, Billy. And yes, congratulations to Steve Clarke, because he got it spot on tonight. Scotland certainly looked much, much better than they did against the Czechs. They were what I was really impressed about Scotland was how organised they were off the ball. And when they had the ball, they passed it around nicely. They created a few chances for themselves. And for me, they were the better team tonight and deserved to win the game. And as an England fan, that hurts to say that, but you have to be honest. I'd look stupid if I sat on here on camera and said, oh, by the way, England should have won that game. England deserved to get the 3 points, because they bloody didn't. They were rotten from the start. And that miss by John Stones just sums it all up when you've got a central defender who is used to heading the ball, has nobody marking him on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he hits the post. Crazy. Why change the back 4? Look, I don't mind the changes he made there. I mean, I probably would have kept Walker in the side over Reece James. I think a left back had to come in instead of Trippier. It gives us more balance. So I don't mind him playing Luke Shaw. But what I do mind is not not giving them the freedom to get forward much. You know, if you look at when we had the ball, we didn't have any freedom to go forward. The shackles were on. That was clear by our tactics. That was clear by the way we were playing on the pitch for everybody to see. We were shit, says Jason. Geordie says, like watching Steve Bruce's Newcastle all over again throughout the Premier League season. Exactly what I said, mate. Andrew, good evening. Where's Barry? Where's Jayde? Where's Chippers? What happened, Paul? Listen, Andrew, I'm glad you came on, mate. Well done. Well done. Because I really do mean that as well, because Scotland surprised me tonight. They really did. I know England were terrible, but Scotland made them look like that at the end of the day. England were just had no ideas when they came forward, because Scotland was so well disciplined when they didn't have the ball. We didn't have enough movement. There was no way there was any movement on that pitch to break the Scots down. And Scotland stayed strong. They stayed tight to a man, and they did not break that formation. They stayed so well defensively. And then, like I said, when they had the ball, passed it around lovely, absolutely lovely, and kept the ball when they had to, and then they got forward when they had to, but they didn't risk anything either. They came forward, they had the chances. As soon as they lost the ball, though, bang, back in position and ready to go again. So hats off to you, Andrew. Really hats off. Tony says, yeah, credit to Steve Clarke. They arguably had the better chances. They should have won the game, without a doubt. Jake says, Clarke won the tactical battle. Andrew says, I said to you last weekend against Croatia, your midfield is terrible. We should have won that. And be honest, you know it too. Yeah, I've said it, Andrew. You should have won the game. Scotland, if Scotland had snuck a 1-0 win, we as England fans could not have complained at all. No way, because that was Scotland's game to take tonight. I'm a little surprised that you didn't bring Fraser on, maybe for the last 20 minutes to have a go down your left-hand side and get some crosses in for the two big guys up front, but unfortunately you didn't. So, would that have made a difference? I don't know. Billy says, very disappointed with Reece James not getting his head up and missing great forward and runs. And I drop Kane. He's an effing statue. Yeah, I mean, look, Harry Kane... Is he all that at the minute? Is he really all that? I know he plays well for Tottenham. Do not get me wrong. And he certainly knows where the goal is. But what is wrong with him? I mean, he just looks a shadow of the player that we know he is. And come on, we can't say that, he's a terrible footballer, because he isn't. His goals have proved that. And he scored some wonderful goals for England as well. But at the minute, at this present time, he is not doing the job that he is there to do. He looks a shadow of the player that we know he is. Now that needs looking into. That needs investigating and to find out what is going on with Harry Kane, because if he is carrying a knock, he should not be on the pitch. And, for me, watching him, he looks injured. Tom says, this is one of the reasons why I've tuned out of England. Too much like Newcastle. Supporting Newcastle is enough for me. Yeah. Like I said before, we've put up with this all season, and now we're having to watch it in our national team. Not good enough. Andrew says, England are going to struggle against the Czech Republic. You may not even qualify. Look, it's a different game. It's a different day. From an England point of view, the game's done. They need to move on. They need to get ready for the Czech game and prepare the right way. But we need a manager who is going to take some risks and actually have some balls to do something on, change it around. He can't get away with playing this formation and tactics every single game. It just doesn't work. We have nothing, because other bigger nations will just absolutely crucify us. And the Czech Republic have not been playing badly this tournament. So it will be a tough game. But I think at the end of the day, if Southgate gets it right with his forward-thinking players and actually takes the shackles off, we could go and win the game. But it's now turned into a massive game for England, when really we could have been home and dry with another 3 points tonight. Mark, good evening. I think that Southgate and Bruce are the same person. Yeah. I think Andrew's a bit shocked with me saying well done to Scotland. Thomas says 100% it looked like Steve Bruce managed to play for the tie, pray for a goal, no tactics. Yeah, exactly. And that's what says it all to me. There was nothing there. He 100% played not to lose the game. And when you're England against Scotland, and this is no disrespect to Scotland, because like I say, they played fantastically well tonight and were so well disciplined, we had to go at them from the off, because there was no doubt to me, and I said it before the game in the preview, that I said that, Scotland would be up for it. The first 15, 20 minutes to be flying into tackles and everything like that, and that's exactly what they did. But it was important for us maybe to grab a goal and go at them and try and knock their confidence, but we didn't. if anything, the way we played, we let Scotland's confidence grow from minute 1 onwards. And you could tell they were getting more and more on the ball. They were starting to relax and play it around because they thought, well, hang on a minute, England aren't coming at us. They're actually scared to concede a goal here. They're scared to lose the game. And that, for me, is unforgivable. Andrew says, all that bollocks, 4-0, 5-0. We should have beat you tonight. Agreed. The formation looked 4-3-3. Isn't that meant to be an attacking formation? It was 11 at the back, boring ball. 3 times 1-0 wins and 0-0. We may be playing at home, but it definitely ain't coming home. I agree. It's not coming home. It's not. I don't care if we go and thump the Czech Republic 5-0. It is not coming home. And we as England fans, we're already prepared for that anyway, to be fair. Geordie wants Southgate out. Kevin, good evening. It was like watching the tune under Bruce. Damn right it was. Absolutely pathetic. Ryan, we should have won. Andrew says, we packed the middle, exactly what I said against Croatia. The next team will do. Look, I think you will beat Croatia on Tuesday. I honestly do. I think you'll beat them and beat them handsomely. Because for me, Croatia have, they're nothing to worry about anymore. And Scotland now have a great chance of getting qualified if they play the right way. If they play like they did tonight, I think they'll easily beat Croatia because Croatia just don't look anything. Absolutely anything. Thomas says, shit, and more shit. Played the occasion on Woods and all that bollocks. Yeah, without a doubt. Jake said they got 11 men behind the ball when they weren't in position, didn't press from the front, happy to camp in their half and hit on the counter. When isn't that parking the bus? Look, Scotland didn't sit back the whole game. If you're going to park the bus, that's all you do. But Scotland didn't do that. And England, as the home team, are going to come out and try and obviously attack Scotland. But England were getting the ball and going sideways and backwards. You know, Scotland aren't parking the bus there. That's England just knocking it around at the back. They're not even pressing Scotland, so they can't be pressing. They can't be parking the bus. You know, Scotland are obviously going to be content just to let England pass sideways and backwards. They're not going to press for the ball then. When they did press for the ball is when they needed to press for the ball. When we got closer to their 18-yard box, Scotland then pounced, and we had no answer for it. We had absolutely no answer for it. So Scotland played exactly the right way tonight. And Andrew's a happy man. Billy says, Scotland wanted it more than us, but Harry Kane, by Christ, he may overtake Shearer's record, but he ain't fit to lace his boots. He just doesn't look right. There's something not right with Harry Kane. Now, whether it's because, all this stuff about leaving Tottenham, is that bothering him? Is he more interested in that than he is playing for England this summer? Is his future more, is he thinking that way? Or is he carrying a knock? Is it just being too much football for him? I guess it'll come out in the future, but he's not doing it at the minute. Rice playing deep in midfield is about as creative as Stevie Wonder with a colouring book. Yeah. Which manager would come in if Southgate was sacked? I mean, that's obviously, Ryan, that's a discussion for another day. We're going through the tournament with Southgate. Nothing's going to happen to him, during the tournament. He's our manager through the tournament. So if he did leave at the end of the tournament, then obviously we talk about another manager who obviously I don't have a clue at the minute without thinking about it. Jason says it's like they want to finish second to get an easy round tie. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories about that, hasn't there, Jason, during the last few days about, looking at where we were, winning the group to who we might play in the next round of 16. Would it be beneficial for us to finish second? You've got to think about it. The way we played tonight, is that in their thinking? Jayde, good evening. My host who's having a night with our friends and family tonight. So I hope you're enjoying your night, Jayde, apart from that performance. Obviously, effing pathetic performance. Kane was missing. Yep, totally missing. Nowhere near. And I hope you've had a good drink tonight, young lady. Andrew says, there you are, Billy. What happened, mate? What happened to all the 4-0 bollocks? Now, let's face it, guys. Andrew deserves a say here because we did hammer him the other night, saying Scotland, we're going to do this and we were that and we were that. And he got a lot of hammering. So Andrew, as far as I'm concerned, can come on here tonight and gloat as much as he wants because that's what happens. We gave him stick the other night and he, by Christ, can give us stick tonight on that England performance and the Scotland performance. Judy says, not that I want injuries, but the lack of injury time told me there were next to no hard tackles or players wanting it. Yeah. I mean, no injury time in the first half and only 2 minutes in the second half. That says a lot. What load of crap that was, says Warren. 90 minutes, I won't get back. Going to need a few beers tonight to digest that shite. Effing dreadful, it's not coming home. It's a pretty depressing night if you're an England fan, to be honest. England all hyped yet again. Bloody Slovakia would knock us out of the Euros. Andrew says England, if they play like that, will not beat the Czechs. You have to agree. Sterling and Foden couldn't have kept hold of the ball if their lives depended on it. What was with that tonight? I mean, how many, especially the first half, there was balls coming into that box, and they seemed to hit Foden's feet or hit Sterling's feet and bounce a mile away from, anybody bouncing out to play. The control, the lack of control was incredible. And I found that absolutely astonishing. There was just nothing there. There was no excitement on when them players were getting forward. Foden had a little run in the first half and he curled it just wide. But really, what else did we show? Sterling, for me, was, he got on the ball as much as he could, but he couldn't do anything. Nobody was making any runs. And I just think when you've got Rice and Phillips sitting there, Mason Mount is in front of them. Mount didn't seem to get any sort of permission to go forward tonight because he's a lot more attacking than what we've seen tonight, without a shadow of a doubt. So, he was missing a little bit, and everybody knows what a big fan I am of Mason Mount, to be honest. Lol, Andrew, to be fair, I did say you were unlucky against the Czechs with wonder saves. I wasn't so confident for us. Level 7, David, England are totally shite. RD12 says, why the F are we bringing off Foden? Look, I mean, Foden, to me, didn't have a good game tonight. He wasn't very good, okay? But on the flip side of that, what we said about Southgate going more attacking and getting a few more attacking, I would love to see Grealish and Foden play together. And I think they could work wonders. I really, really do think that. And possibly Sancho on the other side. Foden is the number 10, and on the left-hand side, Grealish, because I would really love to see that against the Czechs and see what they can do. Jayde says, it's terrifying what a good team will do to us. Damn right. I mean, it's frightening. It's frightening when you think about it, how badly we played tonight. If one of the big lot come up against us in the round of 16 and we play like that, Jesus, it's all over. It's good night to the Euros for England. Annie, good evening. Embarrassing and shocking from us. Yeah, I think that just sums it up. Andrew says, Judy, you were the only one decent. Do you know how hard it's been all week for me not to be involved in here? Listen, Andrew, you know you're welcome anytime in here, mate. Anytime. And I know we had that bit of a funny thing the other week, but hey, come on. You are a big part of this channel in the comments. And listen, you've got free reign tonight, matey, because you deserve it. Because Scotland were the better side and deserve to win the game. So you can come on here and say what you want tonight, Andrew, because as a Scotsman, you'll be proudest punch of your team. Billy says the only players to come out with any credit are Stones and Pickford. Couldn't believe how many times we've just passed backwards, especially James and Rice. That was the frustration for me, and that's what paid me off, was the fact that we passing backwards and sideways. And that's what I mean about Scotland not having to park the bus, because they're quite happy just for England just to knock it sideways and backwards. Why are you going to try and close them down and wear yourself out during the game? You know there's going to be spells where England will attack you, so you've got to be fresh for that to happen, and that's exactly what they did. They closed us down exactly when they needed to. Good evening, Paul. I hope you're well, mate. Thanks for joining the show. These comments have just flew through again. I think there we are. Andrew says, Jayde, what happened? Billy's quiet. What happened, mate? There you go. This game was a pile of shit. Bunch of overpaid pricks, says Paul. So he's pretty fed up of it as well. Andy says, I was on the edge of my seat when I went for a shit after 15 minutes. Yeah. Exactly. Tom says, yes, Paul, they're bigger up than Phil, and yet the next tournament comes round, and guess what? They're bigged up again. 2022, all the football's coming home, idiots will be out in force again. I know, it's every time. Yet again, England think they can turn up and win. Champions League quality got shown up big time against Championship quality players. Look, there's some decent players in that Scotland team, to be honest, Geordie. You look at Tierney, you look at Robertson, you look at McGinn. They were all fighting for each other tonight, and it was, you've got to take your hat off to them. Billy says, not quite at all. Well done on your 0-0 victory, says Billy. Absolutely try. You can't win if the ball isn't put on goal. Exactly. Andrew says, Billy, you know well as I do, we should have won. Foden did not deserve to come off. Sterling was awful. Sancho should start. It'll be interesting to see if Sancho gets a start against the Czechs, because I think that will come as a massive shock to Gareth Southgate tonight. And finally, he is going to have to change it because it's not good enough. And he's got to, like I said earlier, this thing with Southgate about putting his favourites ahead of the players in form, that's got to stop now. It's got to be the players in form. It's got to be, rather than his favourites. All that bollocks you were given 4-0, Gilly Jocks, you were shit, Machado. Billy's having a go at you, mate. Southgate is not good enough to take our nation forward with this young crop of players. He has to go. Quiet Jayde, says Andrew. Grealish should have come on for Rice, not Foden. Bottle jobs. Yep. I think hashtag Jayde's rant would have been a good one for tonight had she been on the show, but she will next week. You can guarantee it. Quiet Chippers. I think you were slightly the better team, Andrew. Not sure you should have won, given you only had one shot on target, same as us, and Stones hit the post when he should score. Billy, I'm sorry, mate, but I have to agree with Andrew on this. I think without a shadow of a doubt, they were the better team tonight and deserve to win. I really do. But it's all about opinions. So there you go. Level 7, Dave. Why the F did you pay to defend the midfielders going to Evan Scotland? Will Southgate having a laugh? That's Evan pathetic. At half-time, we should have took off Declan Rice and brought on Grealish. Yeah, I think Grealish came on too long. Andrew, F off. Love you really, mate, says Jayde. It's probably not the best time to wind Jayde up, Andrew, if I'm honest with you. Anthony says, Kane is what you get when you buy Shearer from Wish. Oof. Wow. Ryan says, after that shite, at least the new Pixar movie is out on Disney Plus, better than England tonight. Andrew says, oh, Billy, you know, we were all over you. Couldn't get the ball half the team. It's your midfield. I told you, you're all middle. Your middle is shocking. Yeah, and you know, we were tonight. Tangy, good evening. Pass it backwards, pass it sideways. Clueless. Well done, Steve Clarke, a manager I would gladly see at the Toon. Well, okay. Anthony says Sterling was awful, constantly giving the ball away. Good evening, Andrew. Andrew says Czech Republic is going to hammer you. Paul says Italy would put 10 past us. Yeah, on form, without a doubt. David, good evening. He set us up for a point, undoubtedly. Absolutely, 100%. Sterling was terrible. We'll get out of the group, then get knocked out. And it seems to be that way. Now, whether the conspiracy theorists are right in saying that we don't want to win the group, we want to come second, so we can't get into any shit. Who knows? If you are enjoying this live show tonight, guys, please do smash the like button. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Lots more football coming up on here. Even if you're not a Newcastle United fan, we do the England side. Obviously, we're going to be doing Premier League, EFL, non-league stuff. So a lot coming up. So please do hit the subscribe button. And if you're generous enough, you can donate to the channel by hitting the super chat button at the bottom of the live comments and donate through that way. So thank you very much in advance. More comments. Billy, Southgate should have brought Grealish on for Phillips and let him float. Yep. I think that seems to be the way forward. Jayde, David Tron, that's literally what we've watched all season with NUFC. Shocking. Tangy says Willock should have been England's wildcard squad player. Andrew says even Ian Wright can't explain how bad you were. Listen, if anybody's got any sense about them, pundits or not, they will understand that England were poor tonight and Scotland deserved to win the game. And if they don't say that, then I'm sorry, but they're completely wrong. Does it hurt as an England fan to say that Scotland should have won? Damn right it does. But Scotland wanted that more tonight, and nobody can convince me otherwise. Good evening, Jeff. Southgate has no balls, no tactics, no hunger. Ollie says, fair play. They managed to draw against the worst England performance since Iceland in 2016. From an England point of view, shocking. Against a world-class side, we'd be knocked out by half-time. Listen, we'll see, won't we, when we go into the round of 16. We'll see how good England are. Andrew says, we'll beat Croatia if we play like that. Bloody hell, imagine if we go through instead of you lot. Now, that would be extremely embarrassing, I have to say. But, you know, funnier things have happened to the England national team, haven't they? Peter, good evening, mate. Cheers for coming on the watch-along, mate. Evan Pathetic from England tonight. I enjoyed the watch-along, mate. And I think you're doing one on a Tuesday. I'll be joining you for that as well. I got quite angry during the watch-along, and so did others, and rightly so, because we saw nothing that was going to excite us tonight at all. As a Scot, you need to rest Kane. He's absolutely knackered. Take Sterling out and play Sancho. Andrew, I totally agree. I really would leave Kane out against the Czech Republic, 100%. He's not fit. There is something not right with Harry Kane, and that certainly needs looking into without a shadow of a doubt. Just as I thought Reece James took too long to do anything and his passes were awful. That's probably the worst I've ever seen Reece James play, to be honest. It really is. Andrew says Croatia play like a pub team. Thank you, Paul. Waited all well for that, I know, mate. But hey, I speak the truth, matey. Billy says the difference was that Scotland were always looking forward for a pass. English back four, back and forth without any intention. James missed 2 superb runs from Ford in first half by not looking forward. Yeah, and it's the kind of runs that Ramsey was making for Wales, if you noticed. Very, very similar to Wales's last game when Ramsey was busting through, but Bale has the quality to pick him out. And tonight, Reece James didn't do that. Foden was making the runs, and had we had the quality of somebody like a Bale who could look up and see that run and play him in, like a Grealish, for example, we may well have spotted him making them runs. So it was disappointing. Geordie says Scotland only got a point from that match because they have the Premier League's greatest of all time, John Carver, as their assistant. Yeah, we had a laugh about that tonight as well on the watch along. Andrew says, Billy, the difference was you turn up, beat us 4-0. That's the problem with England. You're too high with expectations. It'll always happen. Pickford's ball for Sterling. What a ball, but he fluffed it. Yeah. Jayde says, nah, man, Paul, tell Andrew to F off. Love you, mate. Well played, Scotland. Did really well. Should be proud of your team, definitely. And I think Andrew was a very proud Scotsman tonight. Jason says, Southgate coming over clueless in post-match interview. Okay. I really don't want to know what he said, to be honest, because it'll just anger me even more. Andrew says, how the hell is Sterling in your lineup all the time? Good question. Watching that back line passing about to each other was frustrating. The big money moves has gone to Kane's head, possibly. Andrew says, if we kept the ball from you like we did there is no way you would go far in this tournament. Listen, I think Scotland now, Andrew, the England game's out the way now, and I think it's an upwards for Scotland now. They've got to look to the next few games. The England game's done and dusted. I think for Scotland is now 100% focus on the Croatia game, because that is now a massive, massive game for Scotland. Jayde says, Andrew, because Southgate loves the big names regardless of how they play. 100%. England are and always will be overrated until they will something. Tom says, one thing you can say is that as well as Scotland did, they couldn't take their chances against an awful England. Yeah, I know that, but come on. We've got to give Scotland didn't take the chances tonight when they should have, but England didn't even hardly create any chances, full stop. That's how bad we were. So I'm not going to say anything negative about Scotland, Tom. I think we have to give praise where praise is due and say that they had a game plan and we simply couldn't cope with it. Has Kane peaked like Vardy, or is it just distractions with Tottenham move or fatigue? It could be both. He could be carrying an injury. It could be fatigue. Who knows? Andrew says, Jayde, regardless of who's in charge, your problem is you always think your favourites. But we will always be favourites against Scotland, Andrew, because Scotland aren't as big a nation, footballing wise, as what we are. Therefore, we will always be favourites going into this game. But that fires Scotland up. Jayde says, honestly, mate, love you to bits and hold my hands up. Cracking jock performance. Geordie says, England also performance and a result against the Czech Republic on Tuesday. Otherwise, it's not coming home. I don't think it's coming home anyway, mate. Waited all week, Jayde, listening to you. Derek, good evening. Sorry, Paul, you're saying it's not good enough. They play worse football than Newcastle. FA must terminate Southgate's contract, in my opinion. He hasn't got a clue. Harry Kane has been Southgate. That's a possibility, very much a possibility, but he's not going to get sacked before the end of the tournament. Southgate just said he took Kane off because we needed more energy up front. Wow. I mean, what's that going to say to Harry Kane, that he had no energy? I mean, it's obvious that something's not right with Harry Kane. Plain and simple. The pitch was wet. Many players slipped with the ball. Probably should have changed footwear at half time. Oh, God, he's not blaming the pitch, is he? Tom says, Andrew, well said. England fans moronically overhype their team in every tournament. James says, can't even beat Scotland, so what chance do we have of winning the Euros? It's nothing but hype when England are in a major tournament. Can't disagree with that at all. Jayde says, Southgate is never going to be forward thinking. That's what is holding us back. Amazing talent going to waste. It's not that, Jayde, it's your expectations, says Andrew. He's definitely getting his own back tonight, guys. And you can't blame him for that. We give him a lot of stick. Sack Southgate and get Eddie Howe in short term. Look, I think he's not going to get sacked during the tournament, guys. It's not going to happen. Andrew says Netherlands versus Italy final. That would be a good final for me. Carver's the reason why Scotland got a point tonight. He's the greatest of all time. If it was me, and this is honestly what I would do, you need to drop Kane and Sterling and try something new, even for one half. Look, Andrew, I agree. I think against the Czech Republic, England have got to drop Harry Kane. He's not in form. He's not playing very well, and he looks a shadow of the player that we know he is. So, leave him out. Put Calvert-Lewin in. Put Grealish in. Foden as a number 10. Sancho on the right-hand side. One holding midfielder and some other midfielder. And just go for it. Get the shackles off this freaking team. Jayde says, I disagree, Andrew. We joke about it's coming on, but we always know what we'll do in the tournaments. Individually great players, but we never mesh together. And that is perfectly true. We never, ever do. Scott, good evening. Come on, Scotland. Never thought I'd be so happy and emotional over a 0-0. Sorry, but after what some English folk had said about Scotland, this means a lot. Of course it will. Of course it will. And, there'll be England fans saying, Scotland celebrating a 0-0 win. But come on. We're saying here that England are a much better footballing nation than Scotland, and we're way high up in the rankings, etc. So for Scotland to come to this, to come to Wembley and to play like they have tonight and to put in a performance, you have to take your hats off to them and say, well done and congratulations to the Scotland fans, because tonight is their night. It's not England's night. Scotland have given themselves a real fighting chance of qualifying now by taking on a very, very poor Croatia side on Tuesday or whenever they do play, and have a real opportunity of getting through. So you have to say well done to them. Tony says, I think you'll beat Croatia too, Andrew. You actually played well against the Czechs, just got done on the counter. Southgate hasn't got a clue. And Andrew says, Jayde, all week, every one of you said you'd hammer us. Even your prediction show had you in the final. You may not even get out of the group. James says, is Kane more bothered about where his club future lies instead of focusing on the Euros? That it's been said. It's a possibility. It is a possibility without a shadow of a doubt. Tony says, Tom says, I've cursed Harry Kane by putting him in my Euros fantasy team. Look, I think everyone has expected Kane to score goals, and the fact that he hasn't got any so far and has looked a shadow of the player that we know he is, it's a worry. It's a massive, massive worry. Andrew says, Kane is knackered. He needs one game out. Should have been this one. Jeff says, Andrew, you got 1 point, pipe down. Tony says, I think the problem with Kane is he don't know whether he's coming or going, dropping deep or getting in behind. At least at Tottenham under Mourinho, he knew his role. This is what I said in the preview show. Harry Kane, has Southgate actually got the balls and the bottle to say to Harry Kane, stay in the 18-yard box, stay as the striker, don't come back in midfield. We've got plenty of players in midfield. There is no reason for you to come all the way back to midfield. Stay up front and we'll get the ball to you. Play a different way. But I don't think, in my honest opinion, that Gareth Southgate has the bottle to say that to somebody like Harry Kane. Andrew, Croatia are nowhere near what they were a few years back in an ancient team, which is why I think Scotland will win. Jayde says, Andrew, absolutely, because of the quality we have, we should have smashed you. Jeff Gould, aye. And who was that point against? Biggers, good evening. England play the best team in the group on Tuesday. Could our hopes come to an end, or will they actually turn up? It's a must-win now, as Scotland will now have the confidence to beat Croatia. Exactly. Scotland are going to be absolutely buzzing with confidence now for that game. And England, well, it's hard to say what kind of confidence they'll have after tonight. Draw with the Czechs and we go through second. Tangy says, Eddie Howe, next England manager, perhaps. Billy, with that comment, I mean, do you really think we should be happy with England finishing second in this group? Because I don't. And if you're going to win the tournament, you've got to beat the best teams, whether you finish top of the group or not. At some point, you're going to play these big teams. So we may as well just go win the group and then be what may against the bigger teams. Andrew says, Jayde, you couldn't get the ball off us. I don't really agree with that. Paul, I'm going to knock Andrew out. Give me strength. Tom says, I ideally love Bruce to get the England job. Anything to get him away from us. Andrew says, Jayde, tut. Hope you're well hydrated, Jayde. Lee, good evening. Fucking dreadful. Scotland are championship standing well. At least I thought they were. Yeah, I think they've given a lot of people some pause for thought tonight, Scotland. Southgate needs to go. He hasn't got a clue. He gets it wrong over and over again. Graham Jones for England. Dan, good evening. International football is dull. Club over country for me. Yeah, it was pathetic watching that tonight. It really was. Andrew says it's your midfield. You need to take Rice out. I can't actually disagree with him. I think he's right. We need a whole revamp in the middle of the park. It's just not good enough. which is a shame. Steve Bruce, good evening. Beep, beep, Southgate. Get out the way. I'm free this summer. Get me in. Geordie says, well, at least we didn't get beat because Scotland deserves to win the match tonight. Tony, Annie, you're a young man, but have an old head on your shoulders. Judy says, munch your shortbread as quietly as possible. Share shortbread with Andrew. Andrew says, for me, you need to rest Kane. He's absolutely knackered. Calvert-Lewin, give him a chance. I agree. 100%. Better not be Scottish shortbread, Judy, says Tony. And by the way, I am sweating monstrosities under this under these lights. It's terrible. A2 says, I'm so happy as an Irishman that Southgate is your manager. He's an absolute fraud. Billy Gilmore would have played tonight. Come to Rangers or the two. Yeah, I mean, he is linked to Newcastle on loan. I'd love to see him there. Jody says, some said in previous stream, goals win games. Well, they weren't wrong. Yeah, exactly. And we didn't get any tonight. Good evening, Haroon. Mike says, Sterling was so waitful, empty shirt. Southgate has to go. Brian, good evening to you. Southgate is the Steve Bruce of international football, clearly. Judy says, legitimately, Scotland impressed me against Czech Republic. Felt they were really unlucky. Everyone focused on the wonder goal and not the wonder saves. They were passionate, so I was wary. Haroon says, Southgate out, Unai Emery in for England. Ian Wright, keeping the tune, says, Ian Wright said, you've got Sancho on the bench, 15 goals and 20 assists a season, and he doesn't even get on. We need to create. I'm embarrassed for us today. Well, perfect words from Ian Wright. Absolutely. But legitimately, Scotland did us a big favour, showed us how brittle we are up front. I guess Kane's useless if he's not being fed balls a specific Spurs way. Tony says, me too. Look at my comment. P.S. Give me a piece. I'm hungry. Save the Sharks. Good evening. Whatever we put a bet on 0-0 just made a lot of money. Mike, good evening. Hi, Paul. Hope you're well. Hands the shortbread to Tony. It's getting handed around in the comments now. We are the banter country. Yeah, we are. At the minute, we are, without a shadow of a doubt. The Scotland fans will be loving this tonight, and rightly so, and they deserve it 100%. Mike says, so many backward passes, cowardice. Totally right. Good evening, Elliot. Dire performance. England had nothing to show for this at this level. Getting knocked out, it was a schoolboy performance. Tony's a happy and well-fed man now. Annie, good evening again. I think we need to bow down to Andrew's superiority. Tonight we do. Have you seen us take over London? There certainly will be tonight. Amazed VAR didn't look at the Sterling penalty shout too. Oh, come on, Billy. I think this Billy, I love your banter, mate, but you're really clutching at straws tonight. That was not a penalty in a million years on Sterling. If anything, he tripped himself over. He kicked the back of the Scotland player's leg. It was never a penalty in a million years. We are really clutching at straws there, Billy. Bicker says, does anyone really want to see England progress to the knockout stages? It's a good point if we're going to play like that. I, Andrew, because of the rest of us were at work. Good evening, Carl. I was very disappointed by the England-Scotland game. Andrew or Billy, don't talk bollocks. That was no penalty diving, Bar Stewart. Yeah, I think he died. Well, he didn't dive. He tripped himself over at the end of the day. Jayde, you were cack, babe. Simple as that. Sean says, hi, Jayde, as usual. Good evening, Frank. After 23 years, Scotland supporters are now out of their caves and will be skipping around the streets of Scotland playing the bagpipes after tonight's results. But joking aside, credit to the jocks. Yeah, and that's it. We have to, as England fans, be honest and say credit to Scotland. Tangy says, I might watch Scotland rather than England on Tuesday night. More entertaining. Listen, I was bored out my mind tonight. I'm not going to lie. You know, watching that game was just simply shite. And it's 92 minutes of a lot of people's lives that they're not going to get back. Elliot says, at this rate, England are getting knocked out of the next round performance, schoolboys performance. Tell Kane to go home and call up the mighty Callum Wilson. Listen, as stupid as this sounds, right, without Newcastle bias or anything like that, tonight, if you're going to take Harry Kane off and put somebody on for half an hour, it would be fantastic to have somebody like a Callum Wilson who can hold the ball up brilliantly, who can make runs, who is so fast. You know, it would certainly give England another option. So, yeah, it would be lovely. And I think Callum Wilson, if he does it next season, he should be in the England squad. Frank says, should bring back the annual England versus Scotland matches according to ITV. In my opinion, should they fake after that performance? Jayde, Andrew, we were shocking and you still can't beat us, man. Pipe Doon. England all hype, nothing will change, says Frank. Jayde, we played you off Wembley. You know it, and I do. Did you? And did you win? There's a real argument going on in the comments. And he says, we were slow in the middle. And Mount, Foden and Kane were dropping too deep, and it didn't help our progression moving forward. We missed Maguire's ability to pass and carry the ball out into midfield. I'm not so sure about Maguire, but I agree, Annie. We were just too slow all around the park tonight. There was just no, when we got the ball, there was no drive, there was no determination, there was nothing. It was very, very dull. And England got the ball, and it didn't really give us any inspiration that they were going to break and score a goal. It was just shite from the start. David says, I thought England was effing shocking. The time did not work. For me, played well. For me, well played to Scotland. Yeah, exactly. Andrew Paul, not as big as the old enemy. Jayde, did you beat us? Is 4-0 like your prediction? He's going to hammer you, Jayde. Tom says, I'm saying my comments about Scotland not taking their chances are neutral. I neither love nor hate either England or Scotland. Well, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. Elliot says, Scotland deserve credit. Jayde said, did you beat the mighty England? Nah, mate, buzzing over a draw. Sad times for Scotland. She's hammering you back. 80s Gamer, good evening. Harry Kane looked like he was carrying 10 ton of lard. Scotland unlucky not to win that game 100%. Scotland showed way more fight and desire. England were embarrassing. Look, without a doubt, Scotland showed more determination tonight. I think they wanted it a lot more than England. And I think they really, really had... Scotland had England in the pockets the full game. Full game. Andrew says, right, I'm off ski. I won't say any more to you. Brilliant game. I'm off for some Sawley. Take care, everyone. I honestly fear for England here against the Czechs. Take care, Paul. You take care too, Andrew. Good night. Good evening, 1892 Mags. Get Harry Kane some Red Bull. The bloke has run out of energy. There was nothing there from Harry Kane. And this is 2 games running now. And it's, when does it become a concern? Billy said it really isn't overhyped to expect England to beat Scotland. Yeah, and I said that I said that earlier, Billy. I do agree with you. Jayde, bye-bye, Andrew. Good luck. Stephen says, on paper, we have a really good team, same as Newcastle, in my opinion, but just don't have the right manager. We need a manager who's actually going to take some risks, take the shackles off. He's got an array of talent of forward players, a massive talent there, and he's not using them. It's pathetic, and it's unexcusable to have that array of talent at your disposal and not use it. It's pathetic. Enjoy your night, Andrew. Bye, Jayde, babe. I will, Tom, you too. Carl says Southgate should have played John Joe Shelby of Newcastle. No, let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. Sean said Kane looked knackered from the first minute. Hampden Park will be rocking on Tuesday. Credit to Scotland for tonight's match. It will be. It will be really, really rocking at Hampden, without a shadow of a doubt. And rightly so. James says, big Romelu Lukaku will win the Golden Boot. There's no way Kane will score enough because will be knocked out very soon. And James says, interesting night ahead on Tuesday. Peter says, drinking my Jim Beam and Coke and tucking into some Jack Daniels now. God, I need that after watching that crap. Yeah, that seems to be the way forward. Let's have a good drink and just try and forget that we even set eyes on that Wembley turf tonight because, my God, it was awful. Billy, I wouldn't be happy finishing second, but it will lead to an easier route to the next round. Yeah, but Billy, we've got to play these teams anyway. So what does it matter if we get into the quarters and then meet one of them? You know what I mean? We may as well just do it. Tonight's match was a cure for an insomnia. How are you today, Paul? I'm good, Sean, apart from what I've just witnessed on the Wembley turf. Billy says we don't have a bad midfield, but we need to play our best players there. And it all boils down to Gareth Southgate, Billy, as to whether he's got the balls to actually take a few players out, his favourites, and go with the players who are playing in form and know they can do the damage. And I think leaving James Ward-Prowse out of the squad, massive error. Massive, massive mistake. Judy says Scotland are Champions League. Don't they have a lot of Premier League players? Yes, they do. And I think, to be fair to Steve Clarke, he's done a wonderful job with Scotland and has really, really improved them. He did a great job at Kilmarnock as a manager there. And you know, it just proves he's left and they've been relegated. You know, so he did a great job with them. He's come to Scotland. He's changed a few things, but what he has given Scotland is belief. And I think that's a big thing for the Scots. If they get belief, they get the motivation, they have hope, they will perform. And, you know, they did it on the pitch at Wembley tonight without a shadow of a doubt. Thomas wants Southgate out. Billy says, I didn't say it was a pen, but thought VAR would have looked. Do you know Robert Moreno? No, I don't. Judy says, my brother told me this story from 96 when I was a baby. Gareth Southgate got a commercial for Bull Boys shoes. Crap trainers you'd get bullied for wearing. You'd get a ball autographed by Southgate. He also did one for Pizza Hut, which was even more embarrassing, but, a long time ago now. He missed a penalty 2 months later, so they reshot the adverts with Alan Hansen. And any kids wearing them were rightly beaten up and thrown in the school skip. James says, Rashford is England's golden boy just because he's a mank. I really don't think he should have come on today. And if I'm honest, it should have been Calvert-Lewin. Rashford has not delivered for a while now. And again, but we know that Rashford needs surgery on his injuries. We know he's not 100% fit. So why is he there? Henderson being in the squad. Why? He's injured. That's clear. He hasn't taken any part in these opening 2 games. It's a farce. We've left players at home who are far, far fitter and far better, in my opinion. But this is typical of England, you see. This is typical of what they do. Do you know the actor Jason Statham, says Layla? No, I don't. Well, obviously I do. I know him from his films, but I don't know him personally. Scotland really boxed in England tonight. Didn't get the win, but completely closed you down tonight. We played not brilliant, but nullified England at home. Took a point, and that'll do me. Exactly, Stevie boy. And well done to Scotland for doing that. Totally deserved. 100%. Annie says, I'm scared for my Scottish friend in school. Who do you think will win the Euros, says David? I'm not going to change my stance on this. I think France will win it. Other teams with a chance would be Belgium. Holland could get in there. Holland are playing very well at the moment and certainly have got some very, very good players and they like to attack. I like the way Holland play. Holland play on the front foot and go at you. Totally different to how us lot play. You know what I mean? Frank says it's about time people start to respect Scottish football because there's some great teams and players in the SPL. Yeah, I watch a lot of SPL football and without a doubt it has improved massively. Good evening, Keith. What load of crap. This game proves no matter what the team, it's all about the quality of the manager. Imagine what a manager like Sir Alex would do with the current team of England. Well, we score a lot more goals, I know that. Gemma, good evening. Paul, that match was diabolical. 100%, without a doubt. Frank, did England play tonight? Did I miss much? Oh, I think a lot of England fans fell asleep. What is wrong with Harry Kane? He was awful. It needs looking into. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Whatever the problem is with Harry Kane, it needs looking into fast because something is not right with him. Now, whether he's carrying a knock, and if that's the case, if he is carrying a knock, he should not be in that team because he's not creating chances. He's not getting on the end of things. He just looks a shadow of his normal self. Bickerton B, good evening. He says, evening, Paul, absolutely terrible. The fact that some people thought we beat the likes of Portugal in round 16, yeah, is a bit laughable without a shadow of a doubt. James Ward-Prowse staying at home will cost us. Yeah, I agree. To be honest, what has Southgate actually done? He has barely managed in his career and then gets the England job. We need someone with a lot more experience. We was better under Sven-Goran Eriksson. Yes. If we look at his last job, was it Middlesbrough? He completely failed. But look, he was in the setup already. It was easy for the FA just to say, oh, well, there you go. We've got a ready and waiting England manager there in Southgate. I don't believe he should have been England manager. Not a chance in hell. But then again, that was not a penalty. Don't be soft, guys, says Tony. Who doesn't want Southgate out? The jocks, I suppose. Dan, good evening. Sterling, Grealish and Kane should never play for England again. Diabolical. Listen, I'm not going to hammer Grealish because he should have been on the pitch from the start, in my opinion. Robert Moreno is the new Granada manager, former Spanish coach. I see. Okay. Billy, that was never a penalty. After tonight's performance, Southgate needs to put a bag over his head, just like the Pizza Hut advert. Yeah, agreed. We were reffing crap, says Thomas. Leila says, do you know the actor Jason Statham in the films? What's your thoughts on him? Good actor. Half the squad selected is injured. We're playing players with one leg each game. Annie, you should be scared of your Scottish friend after tonight's performance. Yeah, he should be. Keith, I agree, but I've seen them given. Tony says, would Che Adams even get in the Newcastle team? And we made him look at... Listen, Che Adams has had a good season, guys. He really has for Southampton. He started slow, but started to score a lot more goals second half of the season. So that chance he had in the second half, he definitely snatched at it without a shadow of a doubt. He saw the goal and he saw the glory, and I think everything flashed in front of his eyes, and he made a mess of it. But I think he's a decent player. says Southgate out. Absolutely detest the bloke. Can't tell you how angry I am right now. I can't understand what his agenda is with Grealish and Sancho. Get him sacked. His nose is bigger than our hopes. 100%. He's definitely got an agenda with Grealish, and I don't know what that is. Scotland have one good player. Robertson, other than that, average thoughts? No, I think they've got a few good players. Robert Moreno for England manager. Stephen, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Outstanding show as always, he says. Thank you, Stephen. Really do appreciate all the super chats. Last time we lost to Scotland, Beckham played, and tonight he was in Wembley, so is he a jinx? Possibly. Southgate failed at Borough, that says it all. Fabio Capello would do a better job with this crop of England players. Possibly. We'll just finish off the comments before the end of the show now, because we've been going an hour, and it's 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and I need a drink after that match. Judy says, just seen the Southgate interview. He says the team were up for it until they saw a photo of the King of Morocco with an eyebrow piercing and ruined their focus. Learning this, I'm Southgate in. Yeah, thanks, Judy. Southgate is an inferior version of Steve Bruce. Yeah, I don't think all those managers are going to take the England job, mate, unfortunately. Frank says Southgate hasn't got a clue. Get him out now. Jason Statham is the best actor ever, apparently. Fair enough, Layla. Name me any other good players Scotland have. Tierney, McGinn, Che Adams to a degree. I think O'Donnell played well tonight. Listen, I think they've got, it's not about outstanding players, it's how they play as a team. And Scotland played as a team tonight without a shadow of a doubt. Frank says, great show, Paul, mate. Looking forward to future content. Thanks, buddy. No one understands Southgate's instructions, as whenever he tried to explain something, he kept knocking them over with his massive nose. Thomas says, great stream, Paul. Thanks, buddy. Right, that is the end of the match reaction show for tonight. Thank you to each and every one of you who's joined in the live comments and gave me your opinion on the match. It's been absolutely fantastic getting all your opinions. It's hot as hell under these lights, and I'm pretty much melting. So never mind. That's just what you do when you try and light up a green screen. But it's been a great show. A poor match, though. I expected to come on here tonight with a bit more optimism for the tournament, a bit happier, maybe with a few goals here and there. But it just didn't happen, did it? It just did not happen. We were pretty rank awful from the start. So unfortunately, that's the way it goes with England. And we have a manager who simply does not want to play the players in form. He'd rather go for the players that are his favourites, that he always says, oh, I trust them. Yet this trust somewhere along the line gets broken because they don't perform, and we end up looking like idiots, which we've completely looked like tonight, because Scotland 100% deserved to win that game, 100% wanted it more than us, and things have simply got to change in this England system and the England motivation, the whole thing. It needs to change. We need a better performance against the Czech Republic, and a performance that's going to score us some goals and actually get the confidence going. But that's it for tonight. If you have enjoyed the show, guys, please do hit the like button, as it does help me build the channel. Keep an eye out for live shows next week. We will have the England Fan Forum, which should be very interesting, where you can come on the show with me and Jayde, join us live, have your say. You don't have to be on camera. You can just have your microphone on if you're not too happy about being on camera. You can still join the show with your microphone. If you're new to the channel, you've enjoyed what you see, have a look around. Lots more football to come on here next season. Newcastle United, obviously, we'll have the Premier League, we'll have EFL, we'll have non-league, all in separate playlists. So even if you're not a Newcastle United fan, get subscribed to the channel, because there's a lot of football coming up on here in the next season, so it should be great. So like I say, haven't already, please do subscribe. And we'll catch you next week with some live shows. Keep your eyes open for the recorded ones, because I am doing some recorded videos on Newcastle United. Any latest news, transfer news, takeover news, all that sort of thing. And hopefully if we'll start Newcastle United live shows again after the Euros. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend, people. I will see you soon. Take care. Be strong.